Hi, Tatiana.
Hi, Mark. It's time to play. How many green things can the cast of She-Hulk attorney at law name?
The letter of the day is G.
A word beginning with G, banned on Twitter and Instagram. Groomer, groomer, groomer. If you say groomer one more time, right?
I'm shown.
What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It's not that difficult to discern where a lot of the kind of political ideology stuff comes from in Disney, because it's generally coming directly from the actors, actresses, the writers, the directors, the producers, because as we've seen in multiple examples in terms of, newly revealed video, they hire a certain type of person on purpose. In fact, many right now are talking about a massive lawsuit that may happen after they admitted on open camera that they avoid hiring, well, the largest demographic of people in the country. Now, the star of the canceled woke garbage She-Hulk show, which managed to lose nearly $250 million over just a few episodes, is out there talking about a new law that requires parental approval for kids to change their pronouns. Again, this is another perfect example of these teachers who want to insert themselves between the parents and their kids. It's a very common tactic. We see it all the time. And we're going to get into this after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2024. If you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out. And Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. Which is written after an interview was given over on boundingintocomics.com. Marvel's She-Hulk star Tatiana Maslany slams Canadian law for simply requiring parental approval for students to change their pronouns. Quote, "It should not be in the control of the parents how a child identifies." What? We're not coming for your kids, they say. We're not coming for your kids. You're weird. You're weird. You're a boomer conservative. We're not coming for your kids. That's a weird thing. Where do people ever get that idea? Mm-hmm. 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 Once again throwing her hat into the ongoing gender discourse, She-Hulk attorney at law, failed show star Tatiana Maslany, has made it clear that she's a strong opponent of her native Saskatchewan, Canada's newly enshrined into law Bill of Parents' Rights. The series of events which eventually led to the bill's creation first kicked off back in August of 2023, when the province's then Minister of Education, Dustin Duncan, announced a new set of policies surrounding the subject of various educations. Specifically, Duncan made it a requirement for schools that when a student requests their preferred identity and or gender expression be used, a parental guardian/consent will be required for students under the age of 16 and to engage in the review of the involvement of third-party organizations in supporting school divisions and teachers with delivering instruction related to these type of outcomes in the curriculum. By the way, it should be 18. Why stop at 16? Unless maybe the law is different there. Maybe you're a legal and adult 16 there. I don't know. Seems unlikely though, although it is Canada. For those curious, in the case of those students who believe they may be harmed if they inform their parents of this decision, the policy specifies, quote, if it's reasonably expected that obtaining parental consent, as mentioned in subsection 1, is likely to result in harm to the student, the principal shall direct the student to the appropriate professionals who are employed or retained by the school to support and assist the student in developing a plan to address their request with their parents. So essentially they're saying, well, what if their mean old parents are going to do something terrible to them if they come out and, want to do this? Well, the student has a plan, or the school has a plan for that, okay? We have a system in place where we can develop a plan, we can talk to your parents, and I think that that's perfectly fine. In response to these policy shifts, the University of Regina's Pride Center, of course, teamed up with a Canadian LGBTQ advocacy group to challenge the implementation of a former policy on the grounds that it would so supposedly violate the right to life, liberty, and the security of a person, and equal treatment before and under the law, granted to each citizen in the nation's Bill of Rights. Following a brief court case, Court of the King's Bench Justice Michael McGaugh eventually ruled that, quote, at this stage, the pronoun restriction does not appear to have governmental authority, granting an injunction against the government's policies pending a full and complete hearing in on the constitutionality. However, rather than wait for the legal process to play out, the Saskatchewan government moved to circumvent it altogether by bulldozing the bill through its legislature and triggering its notwithstanding clause, which itself temporarily overrode the usual requirement that given a piece of legislation undergo judicial review. This play successful. On October 20th, 2023, the Saskatchewan Legislative Assembly officially enshrined the bill into law, amending their Local Education Act of 1995 to require all schools to abide by the aforementioned pronoun policy. By the way, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. If a kid, this is just goes back to the time-tested and generally approved position that parents are parents. Teachers are teachers. It is not the teacher's job to inject themselves as the student's parent or to circumvent a parent's ruling. We've seen countless examples of woke teachers who say, oh, I have a closet for when kids come to school if they want to put on a dress instead of wearing the pants that they wore. I have a special group for kids to come so they can, quote unquote, feel safe. And maybe that's all true. Maybe the teachers that are doing this kind of thing really just want their kids to feel safe. And, I understand. The problem is it seems predatory and it's not your job. You are not that child's parent. Now, if you see, something bad has happened to the kid, I don't have any problem with that getting reported. But outside of that, it's not your job. Your job is to teach them math. Your job is not to teach them gender ideology. Unsurprisingly, the passage of the bill did not fly well with Tatiana Maslany, herself a noted LGBTQ youth activist. Speaking to reporters following a June appearance at an event held by Canada's Walk of Fame by the Hotel Saskatchewan, Maslany criticized this content, saying it should not be in the control of parents how their child identifies. What? First of all, I would guess that 99.999% of parents, even that curmudgeonly old, boomer dad, if their kid wants to go by they, them, Zer, whatever, they're going to be fine with it. Or they'll at least tolerate it, because parents tolerate a lot of nonsense when their kids are teenagers, okay? But again, it is not the teacher's job to inject themselves into the family situation. How a child knows themselves to be, said the actress, that isn't part of a parent's place. It's an overreach. It's an overreach on the part of the provincial government to legislate that. It's absurd. You know what's absurd is wanting to talk to, having a teacher getting involved in these kids' pronoun choices. You can see, look at this. Someone tweeted, breaking Canadian actress says that. Let's look at some of the comments. Sounds like the exact same argument for the PEDs. I'm positive many progressive liberal women have no idea that they're pushing Marxist feminist idea that true liberals can't happen while private families continue to exist. I mean, just getting absolutely shredded online. Show me an adult who doesn't regret a decision as a child, and I'll show you a liar. Show me a child whose parents stopped them from making certain decisions in their life, and I'll show you an adult with less regrets. Parents need to parent, and governments and schools need to stay out. Someone tell Tatiana that her point of view about someone else's kids is a real overreach. Let her bear her own kids, which she has none, and follow the concepts that she is selling to the world. Someone needs to tell her to leave parenting to the parents and that she's grasping at straws with her own overreach. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most parents out there would agree that it's none of Tatiana Maslany's business how they raise their kids. It's not the government's business how you raise your kids, with a very, very few exceptions. And, quite frankly, this is all essentially part of the government's plan, the left's plan to, break apart nuclear families, to alienate kids from their parents, to, make, to get control early. The same people think, hey, we can, kids can definitely make lifelong decisions about their bodies. This is a great idea. No, it's not Tatiana Maslany's job. It's not Marvel's job. It's not Disney's job. It's not the government's job. The job of parenting belongs to the parent. That's how it works. And the responses, obviously, on the internet agree with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.